in Canada, this is a fun game to play. In Canada, they'll have pictures of women in ICU, and they'll be like, "I regret not getting vaccinated,"
Oh,
but they show a picture, and guess what? Without fail,
yeah,
fat as a
500
house.
pounds. Yep, 500 pounds. Yep.
Yeah, I've noticed like even all the stuff I've seen in regards to ICU, you're not seeing like people who are that look healthy really in ICU. It's 90% of the stuff I've seen has been morbidly obese, not even just obese, like my 500-pound life obese, and they're struggling to breathe.
Oh, and in Drex, you remember I showed you the picture of that 13-year-old girl who died of COVID?
Yeah. Yeah, that no one believed was 13.
She made Lizzo look skinny and healthy.
Oh, man.
At 13.
Oh,
wait, we have to do our proper introduction, right?
No, not yet. I mean, we're just doing pre-show
okay.
Banter.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 44 of the Migtown podcast, your only weekly source for Tampa Bay fuck-ups. As always, I'm producer Tim. Joining me is the mayor of Migtown, Drexel. Say hi.
Hello.
And also joining us in studio today, Ms JLove. Say hi.
Hello.
It's been a while.
Can you tell I'm having more fun doing these intros?
Yes, you are.
Well, I've got the audio set up just right. I've got everything I want in the right place.
Oh,
thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Drex, we're getting scarily close to our 1-year anniversary.
I know. It kind of caught me off guard because you think about it was locked down. Everybody was kind of sitting around playing Animal Crossing or, watching goblin amputee porn. And they were looking for something. Our resident degenerate Koopa knows all about that. And you don't realize it, but like you think about it, one of the things about adulthood is that you take everything week to week, month to month, right? That's why years go by quicker when you're an adult. Whereas as a kid, you're just living in every little moment. So every day is its own little adventure. Yeah, by the hour. I mean, like you tell a kid, how long was summer break? To a kid, summer break felt like forever. Whereas to an adult, it's like, boom, oh, that was June. Oh, boom, then July is over. August is almost done. Back to school, right? For the kids. You're like, summer just, Thanos snap, it's gone. Weather changes. Next thing you know, you're like, man, oh my God, it's almost 2022. It wasn't that long ago that we had that whole year of the coof lockdown, and it was 2021, right? You turned the page, you went, man, 2020 went by so fast, we were all locked down. And before you know it, it's about to be 2022. So like basically 2 years have kind of just gone by without, it's been very unremarkable, right? I mean, other than like, you have like the elections, the only thing that really happened, right? And the fallout of that. Right. That's it. Honestly, that's the only thing of consequence that's really happened, right? I mean, literally nothing else. Like, because I mean, think about it.
Nothing else.
Movies, no, there was no movies that really came out. Not much has happened in the entertainment world. Not much has happened. Just in general, people just kind of got stuck sitting inside and being introverted. So I mean, here we are.
It's gotten so bad, even the grapes don't make much news anymore.
Well. It is what it is, man. But yeah, I mean, the beauty of all this is that certain things did not change during the lockdowns, and that's what we're here to talk about. We include JLove in this discussion, which is a topic that has been kind of on my mind for quite a while, which is this topic that constantly rears its ugly head, which is what the feminazis call toxic masculinity. And the beauty of all this is that I'm here to tell everybody on this episode why it is good to be toxic, why it's good to be unapologetically masculine, why it's good to never listen to these people. And if you do, you wind up like being Prince Harry, right? You're gonna be on the cover of Time magazine if you don't listen to people like me. If you want to get cucked, if you want to get pegged, if you want to, do all that, then I guess you can go listen to, The View, Bold magazine, all these other little, The Guardian, right? The Independent, all these kind of things that are going to tell you to go do the opposite of what I'm telling you, and you're going to end up getting pegged. So if that's the life you want to live, yeah, go live that. But JLove, you and I have talked about this. Obviously, you have boys and girls for kids, and you and I have talked extensively about, just the expectation that's placed on both, right? And you've seen, in particular with your boys, right? They want them to be soft and effeminate and weak and to bow down to women, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous how that transpires. And I'm like, I tell them all the time, yeah, no, not about that life.
It's a good start because let's face it, there is an end goal for all of this, of course, and it's one of the things that I talked about with Flash. There is an article here that I touched on briefly that says this is from just 3 days ago, September 24th, and it says activists. This is from American News. Activists slam Minnesota school board over sex ed that has students role play trans or gay relationships. Right. This is in Richfield High, which is not far from either one of us. You know what I'm saying? And so here's the thing. There's a little update, right? It says, update. After publication, Richfield Public Schools provided a press statement to the Post-Millennial on the district's sexual education program, claiming that the information being shared by the media is inaccurate and misleading. No, see, look, here's the thing. Including any role play is unacceptable. You see what I'm saying? But and that includes straight relationships, right?
I was just going to say that goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
In regards to that. It's not like you're isolating one to the other. It literally goes both ways.
Well, now, according to them, this is what they say. This is their statement. There are no activities in the secondary curriculum that have students role-playing situations in front of the entire classroom, the statement reads. There are 2 activities that ask students to work in pairs and or small groups to practice negotiation and assertiveness skills through scripted interactions. The district cited the National Health Education Standards for using classroom time to, quote unquote, demonstrate and practice refusal, negotiation, and collaboration skills, which RPS maintains, quote unquote, will enhance health and avoid or reduce health risks. Now, this is all bullshit, okay? And it says parents are being intentionally, they're being intentionally deceived and misled. So here's how we're going to solve this. Okay, first of all, I don't respect you if you're part of the school system because you are the problem, okay? You're not teaching anything that is unapologetically masculine. You're not teaching anything. Here's the thing. There's going to be a time in the not so near future, JLove, where they're going to role play getting pegged in school and start encouraging that by the boys, right?
Right.
They're gonna, I don't know if you heard about this, but for those of you, shout out to my man in Australia. You know who you are, our man Apex. You heard the story where the boys had to literally, JLove, apologize for being boys. Did you hear about that?
I didn't, but that's ridiculous.
Now, girls don't have to apologize for anything, right? Literally anything in life ever, right? Doesn't matter if they hit a boy.
Never held accountable.
Never held account, right? Abortions, doesn't matter what girls do. All of it is okay, right? But yet the boys are somehow, they're apologizing. So let me see what the boys are apologizing for. Boys who grow into be men build the world that everyone lives in, right? The house you live in, the apartment you live in, the townhome you live in, the car you drive, the internet that you are using, the cell towers that go up, right? To make this internet possible. Every last thing you see in society was conceived, built, and maintained by those with a dick swinging between their legs. And I want the people...
windshield wipers. Windshield wipers was invented by a woman.
Of course. So she could...
I don't even think that's true. I don't even think that's true. They tried to say Teflon was invented by a woman.
Oh, really?
I guarantee that's not true.
I can't think of any time they've ever literally done anything. But, I mean, if you want to throw them a bone...
Marie Curie is famous for getting herself fucking radiation poisoning. She didn't invent anything. If one of the most famous female alchemists, I guess, or chemists, all she literally did was sit there and nag her husband, Pierre Curie. And then when he died, she basically gave herself cancer by staring at the strange glowing green light and being like, "Oh yeah, this can't hurt me."
Oops.
Knock knock, Drexel. Hey, Consequences wants to have a word with her.
Right. Well, there's a lot going on. In dealing with these schools, JLove, there's a there was an article from CNN Entertainment. I sent it to you by Scotty Andrew that says non-binary characters like Gonzarella, yes, a non-binary Gonzo, right, are lighting up children's TV and encouraging self-acceptance. See, this is all an agenda, right?
Yeah.
And the genderless fairy godmother, which of course that's an oxymoron, right? You can't be genderless and godmother as part of your title, right? Played by the Billy Porter. I'm not even going to give Billy Porter any credit, any kind of name or adjective to describe Billy Porter, just Billy Porter. And you look at things like this, right? And I got an article here that says with the Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania schools, right? A lot of these things are going on, and I want people to truly understand what it is that's going on, right? And as you look at some of these things, and someone says, "Well, Drex, what's the big deal?" It's all about control, right? And it is up to the boys, right? The ones that they call so toxic, right? I want all you guys to understand this. You guys need to be toxic, because you know what toxic is? Toxic is rebellion, right? Conformity, being complicit. They're gonna condition you to say like that's good, right? Tim, they tell boys to hop in school and sit down and learn like females with their legs crossed for 6 to 8 hours a day, right?
Have you ever sat in one of those chairs that they force the boys to sit in?
Very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. Have you ever noticed that it squishes your ball sack?
Yep. Yeah, they want guys to have high pitched voices like probably forever, right?
Right.
And they have that weird ridge like right in the middle, and it's like there is no reason that should be there.
Well, it's all a joke to me. I mean, I look at this thing here. Pennsylvania University tells students, quote unquote, action could be taken if they use wrong pronouns. One, right? Now, JLove, have your boys ever come to you and talked to you about this whole pronouns thing?
Well, you remember that incident from years ago where the girl hauled off and slapped my son across the face and he hit her back and he gets suspended for 5 days. And they're saying, well, because she was a girl, you shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, but what's right is right and wrong is wrong. She should have never put her hands on my son.
Yep.
So, I mean, I have a different view on it. I also know that even with my girls, I've raised them to make sure that don't put your hands on somebody if you don't want the repercussions of it, because anybody you put your hands on has every right to hit you back.
Yep.
So
these things aren't taught anymore, though, right?
They're not, because they're trying to be like, oh, very, oh, if you're gay, we love you. If you're this, we love you. If you're a woman, no matter what a woman says, she's automatically in the right, even though 90% of the time they lie about the stuff that boys do. And so it puts them in a predicament. So for me, I talk with my kids extensively about that to make sure that they don't get put in that situation and to make sure that they're eyes wide open in that situation.
Is there a GSA in their school? Gay Straight Alliance?
I honestly don't know. It's ironic because both, like, I have one that's in 6th grade, one that's in 11th grade. And like they openly talk about it. They know which one of their friends are. There's never any issues in regards to it. So I don't know if they have that. I would assume that they do because, it's all part of the diversity inclusion stuff that they're now doing in the school to be more, I guess, proactive and eyes wide open and non-judgmental.
Now, it's funny you say that. And this is the reason why I was so inspired to make this episode. They talk about how open and how non-judgmental and everything. But let me ask you this. What happens if you show up to school wearing a MAGA hat and you claim that your religious denomination is Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are super straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do they view that?
I mean, at my kids' school, they pretty much just accept them for who they are.
No. That's what your kids would do. I'm saying society in general, right? Like if a kid shows up at school and he's wearing a MAGA hat, right? The same school that said that we accept everybody, right? He wears a MAGA hat He's a Christian guy. He says, like, yeah, I don't do this whole rainbow agenda thing. Are they going to turn around and be like, oh, that's okay too, right? No.
Right. No, they're
No.
not.
No. If you show up and you are unapologetically who you are, this is the reason why I want these guys to know. I didn't know of just how bad it was with these kids being so beat down, right? One of the things I want guys to understand is this. There has to be a part of you that it doesn't matter how much conditioning or programming or indoctrination you endure. You still have to be who you are. You know right from wrong. If someone tells you to bend over and get pegged, if you say, well, this is what they teach me to do, come on now. Right?
Well, you have to have a backbone. I mean,
You have
at
to.
the end of the day, the problem is the beta male population has manifested to what it is now. And a lot of these men are just sitting back like, okay, no problem, whatever you need.
Yeah. And you and I both know that they don't ever get rewarded, at least not privately, right? Like publicly they get a pat on the head. And these are the guys that their PPs haven't been touched since the 80s, at least.
Yeah. Exactly.
And there was this topic. I want to give a shout out to Curious Dolphin because he made a comment about the issue of echo chambers, right? Like, Drex, is your show becoming an echo chamber? But I said, I have a question for you, JLove. In dealing with all the topics of the day that they're out there that we all see the agendas going on. What do you think about the very nature of opening up for your opposition for debates and all that? And are they necessary? Because like with politics and religion, you're not going to change anyone's mind, right?
Right.
So if we brought on a bunch of people who were like the super far left rainbow people,
if we do another marriage stream and we brought Q and his mother on,
yeah,
JLove, do you think that would be a productive conversation, or would it just be an hour of us yelling at each other and then nothing happens?
It probably would be nothing would happen and a bunch of yelling. I don't know. It all depends. It depends on where people's mindset are, because you should be able to have a conversation, whether you agree to disagree and all of that. You should be able to have that conversation. The problem is people are they're always talking about speak your truths and don't back down and don't let anybody tell you, especially women are horrible at that. It's their views and nobody else's views. And if you don't follow what they say, then it becomes this big, huge ordeal. So I guess it would all depend on the context of it, but I don't think there would ever be any resolution to it. I mean, you could have the open conversation about it, and then people will make an informed decision from what they heard, but I don't think there would ever be a resolution about it.
No, and you're talking about the unicorn. Because you missed a group of people, right? Women do this a lot, but you also missed a group of people, and it's their simps, women and their simps, the white knights that come in, right?
Yeah.
So we know, like, Drex, we can rip off a name of YouTubers who are all into this stuff, right? You got the Ryan Haywoods of the world who are messaging and texting underage girls.
Yep.
You got Adam Kovic, who took a video of himself getting pegged, pegging himself with toys, right? You got iCucks.
Ugh.
You got
but Jim,
polyamorous
what if we
Destiny.
brought these? Yeah. What if we brought these guys on, right? And okay, so watch this. So JLove, we bring on a guy like Destiny, right? Who says that it's okay for his girl to be out here getting smashed by other dudes and blah blah blah. And it's like this: is that the message that you want to send to young boys, young men going forward, right? Like if someone says, "Hey, yeah, my girl's on OnlyFans," look, dude, that's cool. But I can tell you how that's going to end up, affecting your life, right? Like, I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a boy who, I think he was like suicidal or something because he was getting teased at school because the kids found out that his mom was out there busting it wide open on OnlyFans, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, this stuff does matter. So that's why when I tell people, I could bring on somebody who's going to say that pedophilia is okay.
Yeah.
That MAPS is okay, right? Minor attracted persons. I can bring on someone right now that says all of this is okay. Cuties is a great film. I have someone who can say that, right? Okay, so if the person is saying that, I'm saying, okay, well, I can show you all the evidence to support that is not true, to support my side, right? In terms of child development, sexual abuse, all that kind of stuff. If I can show you all the evidence that shows this is why this is a negative, right?
Right.
And then someone else is just saying, well, I don't care because this is my viewpoint. In fact, I have a thing right here I'm looking at. I want you guys to listen to this. This is a prime example I'm talking about. The Black church, which I don't even acknowledge as an institution. This is a Facebook post. I want you guys to listen very carefully to this because this goes into what is the true, quote unquote, toxic masculinity. Simping is the real toxic masculinity. Let's get that clear now. This is what it says, guys. I want you to listen close. This guy says, I was at a huge black church. The bishop said, single brothers, stand up. We stood. He said, single mothers, stand up. They stood. Then he said, brothers, I need y'all to, this is all caps, man up and marry these good sisters. Myself and about 13 other brothers left and never went back. See, when you start saying this message, and I've told single moms this. I said, look, being a single mom, everyone has their different reasons to why they're a single mom, but there's all kinds of reasons, right?
Right.
But I always remind people of this, women in particular. I say, listen, ladies, if you have a son and your son shows up and says, yo, mom, I'm going to date or marry this woman. And you say, well, tell me about her. Oh, yeah, she's got 3 kids by 3 dudes. You're not going to say, oh, yeah, it's cool. No, you're not. What are you going to say?
Up, Drex, I want to wife that up.
Yeah. Are you going to tell them to man up? What would you tell your son if he showed up with a used up, ran through hoe who had a bunch of kids by different dudes? What would you say?
Oh, hell no.
So every woman acknowledges that, right?
Get out.
Get out.
You come into my house, my roof, and you ask for me to endorse this? No. Yep. Get out.
It's ironic because I've had conversations with my boys that are like, well, if you guys ever decide to date, like I would like to meet her because at the end of the day, I can get a really good vibe from somebody. And it's ironic because no female that they have met is of importance to them because money is more of importance than anything else. And they're enjoying their life. I can't say that that's going to change down the road because they're still, 18, 19 and whatnot. But it's interesting to have that concept because when I look at my oldest's relationship, her boyfriend has had numerous women and numerous issues. And you stress your concerns, but at the end of the day, you give them the tools, but at some point they have to make their own decision too. So I'm not responsible for your shenanigans or your fuck shit. Here's what I will tell you is going to happen and lay it all out. And they're like, well, damn, it's like that. Yeah, It kind of is.
It really is. The reason why I bring that up with this church and with your boys in particular is this. When you have masculine role models who are reinforcing certain standards, and women can do this too. The ladies, like I said, moms, sisters, aunts, they can reinforce it too. They just tend to not. You know what I'm saying? But I want you guys to really think about this, right? So we've addressed the church, right? In that text, basically the church is blue pill. They want you guys to be simps. Okay, check. We all know the media wants you to be a simp, right? Check.
Yeah.
School wants guys to be simps and cucks and manginas, right? Check. The workforce, guess what? Guys are dropping out, right, Tim? We keep hearing about all these guys dropping out. Traditional workforce, quote unquote, right?
There are a lot of men who are more than happy to work a minimum wage job. They just need to find somewhere to live that's within the standard of living.
Yep.
So you get out of the big cities, go into a small city of like 20,000 people, and you can work minimum wage. And I'm not talking $15 an hour, too. I'm talking maybe, maybe 10, 12 bucks an hour. Mm-hmm. And you can live off that because you're not paying for a relationship.
Yep. Yeah. Well, relationships cost money, and that goes into what JLove just talked about. I know her boys personally, and I've seen how they're evolving as young men. And we talked about that earlier, JLove, when one of my proudest moments that we both shared about your boys, your oldest boys in particular, was that 4th of July came, and they were more concerned with going out, getting fireworks across state lines, and then saying, yo, let's go do our thing. And it was just with their bros. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. It was 6 of them.
Yep.
Well, no, I think it was 8 actually. All teenage boys. Their concern was we're going to spend $2,000 on fireworks and let's blow some shit up. There wasn't a single girlfriend, female friend, or any of that out there. And it was funny because as you're watching them and they're blowing stuff up, you can see some of the couples that are walking and then they stop and they're like, whoa. And then their girls are like way back in the background and they're running over to talk to the kids. And I'm dying laughing on the inside because I'm like, this is classic. Yep. And I mean, it's interesting to watch that dynamic, but it makes me proud because I know a lot of the stuff, even though I'm a single parent, I've really tried everything of my being to make sure that they got to see all sides of it and strategically place certain people in their life so that they wouldn't, necessarily be like a straight beta bitch made dude. Like their focus is money, investing, saving, and doing what they need to do. And my boys are always like, well, I'm not paying money to take a female out to dinner. Like she doesn't have her own, she can't do her own. And they see what I do every day and they're like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then my son tells me all the time how much money he's saving by not having a female, and I just chuckle because it's like it's true.
Well, JLove, I want you to elaborate on that, right? Because you know that goes into what I want men to become by listening to episodes like this, which is to be the best version of themselves. When it comes to your boys saying things like that, I want you to actually say on record, what could a modern female do who's like, in your son's age category, right?
Yeah.
What can she even bring to his life, honestly?
The mother?
No. I'm saying just a girl your son's age, right? Your boy's out there making money, he's living his life. What can a modern female bring to his life that's a benefit?
Man. I mean, oh God, I don't know. Just pretty much sex,
Sex.
just sex. Because at the end of the day, I mean, like I've raised my kids. They all know how to cook. Boys, girls, whatever. They know how to cook. They know how to clean up after themselves. I've taught them to be independent. I've taught them to do what makes them happy and be successful and the best that you can be. At the end of the day, like my older boys, they're like, girls are just a distraction. The only thing they offer is pussy. And at the end of the day, you can just hit it and keep moving and not have to deal with the extra stuff.
Or get a doll.
Well, the thing is, you shot your man, Phil. The thing is, though, is that, when women didn't get their way, obviously with the Texas abortion bill and stuff, right? They were like, sex strike, because there's nothing else. Like, because what else are they going to say? JLove, they can't walk around saying, oh, well, you know what? We're going to cut off cooking. They don't cook. We're going to cut off cleaning. They don't clean. We're not going to be submissive to you anymore. They aren't that anyways. Like,
cut off driving. Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Stop
right?
Driving. We're women. We're women, and we're not going to go to work anymore. Wait. You're telling me that we can just pass this bill and never see a Me Too case ever in the workplace
ever again?
Right.
Sure. Go ahead and do
sign
it.
me up. Sign me up.
So the thing is that like, shout out to our man, 5 Simple Words. He talked about this. We were in the live chat yesterday. He was like, and he said what I've always said. And Matt from the 33 Secrets made a video that actually detailed this also within the last couple of days, where he's like, look, if you are a man, a real man, you should just be on your path. Like, it's your movie, right? You're the star of your own movie. If a woman comes along to be part of your program and she's going to somehow be a benefit to you, then so be it. But she is not the focal point. And one of the things that we got to get away from is we need to address what is real. Toxic masculinity is being a simp. Anakin Skywalker displays toxic masculinity, okay? He was a turbo simp. And we have to get away from this because, I start looking at some of these things that we see in society. I look at JLove's boys as they're killing it. They're doing their thing. See, here's the thing, guys. Being independent and investing and making your money and not wasting money on the opposite sex. See, JLove, you and I both know that's all beneficial to the male side, right?
Right.
Have you ever seen, you and I both know a particular somebody and a few particular somebodies who they are quote unquote successful, right? Like, financially on stuff, females, right?
Yeah.
How are they doing? Are they doing okay? Or are they doing miserable?
They're miserable.
Popping pills.
Oh, I got depression. I got anxiety, crying at home because they don't have no man. And not just, it's interesting to look at the dynamic between men and women, right? So women will sit at home, they'll cry about it. They're miserable. They have social anxieties, depression, anxiety, and all of that. And then you look at the man, it's kind of funny if you really think about it, because when you look at that complete utter breaks of it.
Well, you're starting to see that more and more is, I talk to these young bucks and I like, kind of just sizing your boys up to kind of, hear, just kind of be like a sounding board. Like, what are you guys seeing, right? You guys are about to enter your 20s. What are you guys seeing? And there is something about hearing boys as young as 16 saying, man, these bitches ain't shit. At 16, they already figured it out because Well, here's the thing, though.
So much younger than that.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
They started saying that, right? They may have been thinking about it earlier, but explicitly saying it. Remember, and they will say it to girls' faces. That's the big thing. There was a time when
that is the big thing.
That's the big thing, right? Because JLove, you and I both know back in the 80s and 90s, there were guys who thought that, right? Or maybe they said it in a rap song. But if they were around a bunch of women who were attractive to them, right? They wouldn't openly say that. They were like, "Oh yeah, how you doing, girl?" They would start spitting game, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't start talking that bit. I can assure you, ask anybody who knows, dudes back in the 80s and 90s did not do that whole bitches ain't shit when attractive women were right there in front of them. In general, they were spitting game to get some. Now, getting laid is easier than it's ever been if you go ahead and play your cards right as a man. So guys are going, these bitches ain't shit. Like, this is all they offer? Okay, well, I'm going to go make my money. To not do that, right? To be the guy who says, oh, no, this girl is a queen. I'm going to treat her like this, that, and the other. Those are the guys that are losing. I want these guys like JLove's boys to be unapologetic with it. You see what I'm saying? I want them to just be completely savage.
My boys will not apologize for it. They're like completely honest, and girls get so mad at them. And they're like, well, what would you like me to do? I'm doing me. It's funny because you know that I started my social experiment.
Yeah.
And to watch that pan out. So my social experiment is I decided about 6 weeks ago to give men the same bullshit that they give me. And so the tip of the iceberg was this past weekend on Thursday. I get a message from one, and every time he hits me up, it's like, hey. And I'm always like, hey. And I hit him with the same lines he hits me with. And then he was like, oh, so you're leaving to go on your trip? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I'll be there tomorrow at my flight leaves at 5:30. Oh, well, have fun. I hope you enjoy your stay. And then the next morning I get a text message talking about, so you really don't want me to come? I'm like, no. And then he's just like all like extremely butthurt. But if you, as a female, I literally just thrown them back the same crap that they handed me. And it's amazing to watch the difference in that dynamic. Now, if that were my boys, they'd be like, they wouldn't even be, first of all, they wouldn't have never texted, I'm just going to come where you're at. But they would have been like, well, fuck you. I can get it elsewhere. And I can just quick hit it and go and bounce and still make my money and not have to deal with the extra. Yep.
As soon as the guy sees that headache coming, he leaves. And one of the reasons why I brought up those quotes and some of these, I started the show off with these issues and topics from the school system. The obviously, we read that article about men dropping out of colleges now, right, at an alarming rate, right? And men are dropping out of dating and marriage. Shout out to Dr. Helen Smith, whose 2013 book, Men on Strike, right? Yeah. She talks about all these things, and this is back then. This is before a lot of the whole, the red pill community was really killing it on YouTube, right? And this is the irony. I want you to think about this for a second, JLove. So you hear them talk about how guys are, everything guys do is bad, right? Man bad, man bad, man bad. Toxic masculinity, right? Let me show you the greatest irony I have to this. If guys are so toxic, my question is, why do you want them involved then, right? If guys are so horrible, you should be like this. Good, go away forever. We don't ever want to see you again, right? Now, we know the answer. The answer is usury, right? They want to use them. See, when you hear them saying that, guys are toxic, guys are evil, kill the patriarchy, guys are bad. And then when guys leave, they say, okay, cool, that's good. Oh, you say you hate us? We're so bad? Okay, we're going to leave the dating market. We're going to leave the marriage market. Good, we don't want you anyway. All right, we're going to leave the workforce and do our own thing. Good. We're going to leave schools, right? We're going to go get homeschool. We're going to, in college level, they started going to technical colleges, things like that, right? Trade schools. They're like, good, shit. Church, this is what most churches are. A bunch of ran through single moms who are standing up saying praise Jesus because they want to get cleansed to wipe all the fucking cum shots off their face. That's what church is, okay? We need to just call a spade, okay? So when the guys leave all these places, JLove, the only place we've got left, if you look at everything I just named, is basically the gym and the club, right? And the bars, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So the only places left for men and women to actually interact, I guess you could say work, still in the workforce. But as you know, after Me Too, guys aren't really engaging with women in the workforce anymore. You and I both know, JLove, the romance is out. It's officially over. Would you agree?
Oh, I completely agree. And the crazy part is when you talk about these schools and talk about all the stuff they're trying to do, all they're doing is grooming these young boys into the beta male syndrome, because you look at the Me Too, all that stuff, and you look at all the miscellaneous things that's happening, and it's only a matter of time. So if you think the dating market's bad now, give it 10 more years and you will see what's going to happen. It's going to be horrible.
Oh, it's going to be beyond awful. And the thing that I feel about all this is that I look at it like this. If you were to look at the examples I just gave, right? All these guys are toxic, and of course, they just want to use you. That's toxic, right? Trying to use somebody, like literally using somebody just for what they provide and then discarding them, right? That's the truth. So all of this is a projection. And this is the reason why I want you guys to understand this, man. A lot of the things that you see out here in society, it's nothing but a projection. When they're sitting there talking about how toxic, in fact, JLove, you and I both know this. Most women tell you what when it comes to women. You say, hey, how many female friends do you have? Would you rather hang out with women or men? Do you ever notice that it seems like every woman says they'd rather hang out with guys than girls? You ever notice that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So who's the real toxic ones? Males or females?
Females are.
Everyone knows this, right? This is a common knowledge. But if you went to school, you wouldn't know it. If you went to church, you wouldn't know it. If you went to the mainstream media, you wouldn't know it. If you went to dating advice columns like female dating strategies, you would swear women were literally angels, right? Like God put them on earth to be literal perfection, right? I'm here to tell you, JLove's boys are here to tell you these bitches ain't shit. Okay.
They're not. And 90% of them, I mean, they can't even do basic, like you talk about life skills back in the 80s. They can't even do that shit.
They can't boil water. I mean, they can't cook,
No.
right? So I'm always asking the question. I go, when guys start asking that question, right? This is the first time that I can remember in my own lifetime where more and more men are asking the simple question, what do you bring to the table? And these females are getting very triggered by that question, right? And they start, you know what they call them? Toxic. Listen, I want you guys to understand something. Be exactly what you are. Don't apologize for it. Listen, if you want to sit there and embrace all your interests, right? Tim and I have talked about this. Tim calls it the male autism. Hey, Tim, if a guy is into his ant farm, be into your ant farm, right? If you're into video games, if you're, whatever kind of porn you're into, dude, own it. Be like if a girl asks you right now, Tim, hey, Tim, what are you up to? Just be like this. Yeah, I'm looking at some damn gang.
I'm on my computer.
I'm on my computer. I'm doing this.
Computing and IT is my passion. If you saw the studio, so Drex, the reason I'm able to use the soundboard now while we live stream, I pulled a third computer in here. I was actually testing with Phil earlier today. I have the male autism when it comes to computing.
Yep.
Every man does. Every man has the male autism, and you talked about it in your episode where you talked about passion, right?
Yep.
That was the one I missed because I was dying in the hospital.
Yep.
You talked broadly about having your passion.
Yep. You have to have it, because here's the thing, Tim, I see it with these young men day in, day out. I go out there. JLove and I have talked about this with the poor customer service during the lockdowns. There's no passion anymore, right?
No.
People just got, you see, they have dead. Tim, I have walked through day in, day out of just living life, and I see people with, I'm not joking, dead eyes, zombie eyes. They're literally just drones. And I'm like, you have nothing to look forward to. Like, there's no passion. There should be something driving you. You see what I'm saying? Listen, maybe you lost your job. Maybe you had a breakup. Something didn't go your way, right? Maybe you had a knee surgery. You got to get a replacement. Okay, you got to take a couple steps back. But there should always be a drive. Like, yo, man. But when I get back on my feet, man, I want to do this. I'm trying to get this done. To just literally walk through life and just have this dead, soulless gaze. It's like, how is that a good thing? That's toxic. To be devoid of ambition? Come on.
So here's an ironic story that feeds into this, right? So I was in Tampa for the weekend, and we're at a bar, and it was a bachelorette party. And the girl was like all excited she's getting married. And there was an older woman that was sitting with another older woman. We were all about the same age. So we're all, between 40 and 50. And this young 22-year-old boy walks over and starts dancing with her. And as he walks away, She turns to her girlfriend and says, "That's more action than I've seen from my husband in 10 years." And I'm like, and I couldn't help it. I just busted up laughing. Like I'm like, everything that we talk about in all these live streams and miscellaneous things, like it's legit. Like it's not something that, we're just making up just to have, a great conversation. Like when you see it firsthand, you're like, man.
Well, JLove, can you describe what you see in any given weekend? Can you describe the atmosphere at the bars? Tell us, what are the guys doing? What are the girls doing? Like, give us like age groups, kind of just the general goings on of the bar in this post pandemic kind of era.
Like in Tampa, it was a younger crowd. Most of them weren't over the age of 25. Interesting enough, the guys were half the guys were like dancing like, they were white. And so the goofy ass white boy dance, I don't know how else to explain it. And the black guys would sit off on the one side. The younger girls that were like, had skimpy clothes would walk in front of the men and like rub up on them and whatnot. And they're laughing, having a good time. But at the end of the night, it's funny to watch everybody disperse and go to their own separate ways. Now, Here in Minnesota, it's a little bit different depending on what bar you go to. So if you go to a bar that has mostly an older crowd, it's almost like post-pandemic, these men are just like little vultures, like want to walk up to you and say something, and another one's walking by and they're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Like it's like vulture city when it comes to it, where pre-pandemic it was just kind of a free-for-all. But with everybody being cooped up, whether they have wives, girlfriends, side hoes, whatever at home, it's literally like instant, like, oh, fresh meat. Like they've never seen it before because they've been in lockdown for over a year.
Yep.
Shasberry in the chat says the girls are pretending to get roofied and the guys are all eating hot wings.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I love hot wings, man.
Well, I've been hearing more about that. Like, one of the things that I haven't heard about the roofie stuff, but I'll tell you what I have heard about is similar to what JLove just said. It's this, we've talked about this with the TikTok challenges, right, JLove? It's this craving for attention and it's not just because they were cooped up inside. Have you started to notice, and Tim, we've talked about this, right? We talk about this in the Discord chat. They're doing more to get that attention. I feel that's toxic, right? I mean, you got these are young girls out here, engaging in this stuff. I'm thinking to myself, let me get this straight. At age 18, you went on Seeking Arrangement, right? Literally your 18th birthday. Girls are out here getting butt lifts, body augmentations. Tim, they're not even 21 yet, and this is happening. Yeah. Lip fillers. Like, look at the Kardashian girls. What is it? The Jenner girl. They showed up before and after. She had like a round face. She went and got her lips done, her cheeks done. It's just like, this is where it's going. And I would argue, JLove, that's toxic. Guys are going like this. Guys are telling you, ladies, we want natural beauty, right? We want nice, pleasant, submissive women who are X, Y, and Z. And women are hearing that, Tim, and they go like this. You want what? Psst, I ain't doing that.
Well, I catch a lot of slack because I don't draw on my eyebrows. And my perfect weekend, like in Tampa, I think I put mascara on Friday night. Otherwise, I didn't wear any makeup all weekend. I'm like, I'm on vacation. I'm going to enjoy the sun. I'm just going to relax. But it's amazing how many women don't do that. It's all about drawing in their eyebrows, I can't leave the house until my makeup's on point. And it's 3 hours later and they're still trying to figure out their makeup. And I'm like, to me, it's wasted time. It's wasted time. It's wasted energy, because I know 90% of men are wanting the natural, just be you, enjoy your time. Like your hair gets wet or whatever, like not cry about it and act like the whole world is coming to an end because of it. Unfortunately, a lot of these women are like that. So you have the TikTok platform that's enhancing that times 10. You have, the Facebook Live and the Instagram and Snapchat, and they get to be somebody who they're normally not and project because they want that attention. They want those comments. They want people to look at them. Honestly, I feel like that's why OnlyFans has become so popular, because it's that attention that they're just craving. But it's just weird to me. I've never been that way, but I'm just like, okay, well, it sucks to be you. Like, I want to leave in 10 minutes somewhere to be.
Well, one of the things that I find,
I can't believe that worked.
yeah,
I got a
Arthur,
new thing for my soundboard.
Hey, phrasing.
one of the things that I really see that's crazy, right, is JLove, we talked about, obviously some of this indoctrination that's going on, what they want to do to these boys. Let me ask you this. What did you learn about the school system during the lockdowns? Because a lot of parents were shocked at the curriculum their kids were being exposed to. What did you learn from that, the girls and the boys?
I think for me, because at that point, my boys were older, so they didn't have the sex education. And my little one is too young. She actually gets it this year. So we got all that paperwork, which was interesting. For us during the lockdown, it was just kind of like, I think a lot of teachers just were like, oh, just pass them and get them on to the next grade and just be done with it. There wasn't necessarily a huge learning curve for my kids in particular. But
Ms JLove.
now it makes me as a parent to question, like, now they're going back to school. What are they really learning in school? And I've heard it from a lot of other parents. I think a lot of the kids that actually learned a lot during the pandemic were already being homeschooled, and their curriculum really never changed because they're used to doing that.
When you said that teachers during the pandemic just wanted to pass people along, that was way before the pandemic. That was the No Child Left Behind Act, where failing children cost you funding in your school. So now they just rubber stamp. And we don't even have that law here in Canada. They still rubber stamped them. They just passed them up. I have family members who got passed through school with reading difficulties. Rather than failing them, they just kind of pass them up. It's like it's the next teacher's problem. Oh,
yeah,
that
and
was
I think
before the pandemic started.
Yeah, it was way before the pandemic started, but I think the pandemic actually magnified it more to where a lot of people were seeing it, and not just, certain kids that were part of certain, IEPs and special education programs. I think across the board, a lot of people got to see it, but it's always been there. Oh yeah, hands down, it's always been there.
It became easier to skip school too, which is a major, so kids who are struggling in school get frustrated. Drex, you remember being young and something frustrated you? What'd you do? You stop.
You stop. Yeah, you're like, oh, this sucks.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I
can't beat
do
this game. Fuck it. I'm throwing it out.
Yep.
Well, maybe not that extreme, but you stop playing it, right?
Yep.
If something frustrated you, you stopped. And that happens in schools too. If school starts frustrating you, right? The math is hard. No one's helping you with it. You'll just check out. And the pandemic made it easier to check out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It gave you extra options. I mean, they were always there, but a lot of people took up on those options. It gave them
Well, most kids were just playing Fortnite.
Lazy. Well, people are lazy by default, right? So, you get up, you're like, I'll go to school, I guess. I'll go meet my friends and whatever. Because actually fighting with your parents about not going to school was more difficult.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, like lacking through school was just the lesser evil.
Shout out to the two people who are watching us on the live stream. So this is a benefit that the $20 Patreons get and subscribe stars. They can we're piping through a live stream right now, so they can actually watch us on video. Drex, they can see us. They can see my hand gestures. You can tell I'm part French because I talk with my hands. No. I may talk with my hands, but sometimes I let my hands do the talking.
Hey, phrasing.
Well, one of the craziest things is JLove, I don't know if you knew this, but I sent you that picture of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, right, on the cover of Time.
Yeah.
Do you know what someone sent me from The Independent? I want you to get a load of this headline. And Tim already knows where this is going because, Tim, we don't support this on the Migtown podcast. From The Independent, from Rachel Revez. Cuckold pornography has become the #1 search in California. Pornographic website Pornhub states. Now,
hang on. I gotta do That's for you, California. You fail.
You failed. Like you failed at life. And see,
you got an F- on this one.
People think that this stuff is all just like some joke and everything. And Tim, we've talked about this. JLove, if you hop on Pornhub right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you search, they're going to always try to, they're going to insert in your recommended videos one of these things. Something gay shit, check. Tranny shit, check. Or cuckold shit, check. Or, as Tim says, it's always incest.
It's always the fucking incest.
Yeah, you're like,
that must be
Yeah,
a Canadian
honestly,
thing.
as many times have I been on there, yeah, that is correct.
It's fact.
I don't have the step bro sound effect, by the way, because that it's very situational, and I only got limited space on the soundboard. All right. Oh, hang on. I think I did add a new one here.
I'm getting there. Oh, it's so fucking hot.
Poor Nick. Poor Nick.
I did Nick dirty on that one.
Nick, well, and this is the reason why this is so important. As JLove and I just said, JLove is talking about, from the female perspective, all the ladies out there are just being subjected to more and more bitch-made betas, right?
Yeah.
Well, JLove, just think about it. Okay, all the things that we named, right? The church, the school, the workforce, the media. If everything is conditioning them, right? Everything is indoctrinating them and conditioning them to be basically these are the guys. When you guys complain, right? When women come to me and say, "Oh my God, Drex, I can't stand these guys," they're rude, they're this, that, and the other because they didn't get the peace leave, right? That is the real toxic masculinity, right? The failed simp, right? That's the toxic that you're talking about, right? Well, think about it, JLove. If you are sitting there conditioning guys, no matter what they look up to say, "Oh yeah, we got this cuck porn for you," right? Okay, JLove, could you ever respect a cuck?
No.
Because no one can, right?
No.
Respect somebody who gets pegged.
You can't respect somebody sitting there that's literally like this, like, "I'm gonna hold your hand." Oh, honey, you're doing great. While the dude's like, "Hey man, go get my water." Oh, okay.
Go get my snack tray.
Go get my snack.
Ron Toye, go get my snack tray.
Okay. In this thing, and this is obviously JLove knows that, when I talk about single moms, it's never out of a place of hatred. It's out of a place of like, look, who do you think keeps creating these guys? The school system creates them. Single moms create them. Bitch-made beta male fathers create them. I was like, this isn't good for anything. I want all of these guys, JLove, to question people openly. And this is another thing. You guys have got to get to a point where this whole, like, I'm afraid of, pissing someone off. I don't want my family to say this, that, and the other. Tim, there has to be a point, man, where people are openly red pill or openly black pill, right? Like out in the open. Like you're at work and someone says something that sounds like it's some cuck shit. You go at them, right? go get the eye drops.
Bottles of water.
Do some push-ups first.
Do some push-ups first, right?
Oh God, that came through very weird on the audio.
That's how it sounds when they come over and they started with the cuck shit.
Speaking of cuck shit, you guys won't believe this. JLove told me recently that to reaffirm my belief systems on how marriage is doomed because a lot of these dudes are bitch made. JLove told me about a dude who was offering effusive praise because he's a simp who doesn't get any. And JLove, what was the length of this encounter you told me about?
Which one?
The dude, the dude that you said that you're the best of all time.
Oh, it was 3 minutes.
We
tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, go home.
Here's
something like this, right?
Yeah, that's about how long it took.
Pretty much.
Well, here's the thing. Now, JLove, I've talked about this. I said, look, man, you guys have got to do something about your stamina, right? Because I made that episode about health, and I said, look, guys, I want you guys to get in the gym, raise your testosterone, eat a diet, right, that is not soy, okay? Stop sitting there, don't even listen to simp music. If you listen to 90s R&B, I don't respect you as a man, okay? You're less than a man. You're a shell of a man. If you're singing love songs, watch this. Hey, JLove. If a dude came to blow your back out, do you want him to have some slow jams, 90s love songs on? Is that what you want to hear?
No, I mean DMX would be good.
So you'd rather he go ahead and fuck you to some gangster shit, right?
Yeah,
That
no.
works for you, right? If he had on some hardcore stuff, you're gonna be like, oh, it's one of those kind of nights, right? I want you to say once and for all, how do you as ladies, how do you view guys who pull out all this 90s R&B simp music?
Oh, it drives me crazy. I'm just like, "Ugh, have a good night. I'm good.
Listen, guys, fuck these bitches to some gangster shit, okay? Stop with all the R&B, okay? Stop listening to country music. That's simp music, right?
I
Oh,
don't even know
Hey.
country songs.
Oh, I gotta get that one song. There's some country music that's pretty damn redneck out there.
no. Here's the thing. As a general rule of thumb, like look, even like there are 90s R&B, simp songs, like Seal's Kiss from a Rose. They just have good arrangement. They sound good. But where my issue is that these dudes are trying to use this to like get women, right? Listen to wait, what was the name of that black the black group? Was it Black Street? No, what's the other one? The one that the one that sang Motown Philly. Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
They were like the height of simp music of the R&B 90s, right? And my thing is this. That stuff is cool if you just are, if it's like background music, you're like talking to a girl, right? You just have some soft, like, she could be like, oh, I love this song. That's cool. I'm not going to knock you for that. But when it's game time, like JLove just said, you better have something real on, okay? Because once again, all of this kind of behavior, this is the real toxic, right? Because Tim, think about it. When something goes wrong, right, in society, there's a fire, there's a shooting. And if you're living in Minneapolis right now, there's always a shooting, right? You're going to need those toxic guys, right, to come and save you.
I know one thing, Drex. If there's an active shooter at a mall, who do you think is going to bail you out? Is it the alpha Chad who's packing heat, or is it the soy boy that asks permission to touch your shoulder?
JLove actually knows the answer because she's seen dudes who are literally that bitch made, who are like, help, like dudes who actually wanted to move in with her and like literally nest up under her.
The Jerry Springer house.
She had 3 betas living under her
At one time, not different times.
It's really difficult to pack heat in Canada. There's no open carry here, and pistols are illegal. So if you're going to carry, it's got to be a long rifle.
Mm.
And I guess I'm not going to say much more than that. I don't like talking about my personal firearm preferences and how I carry them. But yeah, it's not going to be one of those soy boys, those beta turbo power bottom simps that's going to save you if there's an active shooter at a shopping mall or a movie theater.
No, they'll probably pull the girl over the top of them so she gets hit first.
Yep. And here's the beauty of all of it is that when I think about making episodes like this, I want you guys to embrace it. Oh, to smash a chick to the soundtrack of Doom? Absolutely. Smash her to the soundtrack of Doom.
By the way, someone asked in the chat, would you get pegged to get rid of the family court forever?
Yep. I would sacrifice all of my dignity.
That
it's that bad. Like,
and you know what? We'd give you $1 million just so that you can go hide somewhere for a while.
No, but here's the thing, though. Okay, here's the beauty of that, though. If you did it, nobody would really judge you, though, right? Because like dudes would women would here's the thing. Women would come after you.
Got pegged.
No, but here's what would happen.
But dudes would be like, "Yo, can I get that opportunity to
save the
deal with
world?
This fuck shit?
You save the world."
I
guess, yeah. If a super straight man had to do gay shit to save the world, men who are not what's the term I'm looking for? Insecure would be like, I ain't gonna judge you for doing that.
Yeah, they get it. They're like, I understand why you did it.
I'm not gonna make fun of you for being gay.
Well, here's the thing. A guy could literally sit there and go like this. Oh, I understand why you did it, right? You sacrificed, your dignity and everything else for the sake of everyone else. I mean, think about it. When Christ is put on a pedestal for a reason, right? Sacrifice for the greater good. Okay, well, if someone said, "Yo, Drex, man, you're over here getting pegged," and it goes, but what is the consequence? The family court's gone. How many guys would be sitting there forever? How many guys would be sitting there sending me messages talking about yo, bro, man, I got a message. Child support ended. I got a message. I get to get my kids 50-50. If that snap Thanos overnight, all of a sudden things would be different. right? But that's never going to happen. So it is what it is. We're at where we're at now. And JLove knows a lot of these dudes, JLove, we've talked about this. Do you find that it is toxic for the way that dudes are basically dealing with their baby mamas?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, your situation is definitely different. I mean, my kid's dad is fucking toxic as shit. And I mean, my boys are, they do what they need to do, right? They're about making money, investing, and doing all of that. They don't even have a relationship with their dad because he's that toxic. They're like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, well, some guys don't want to be dads, and that's the reason why I always tell women to make sure that you guys get with the guys who actually want to be fathers,
What are
right?
you spreading the pee for?
Yeah, and that's a major thing because I mean, we always got to make sure because remember the burden of the child is always ultimately going to be placed on the women. Women just pawn it off on society, the government to get benefits, blah blah blah, the dad to pay, but ultimately, right? Ultimately, the choice of whether or not a kid will ever even see the light of day on earth is going to be your decision. So that being said, women got to also step up and go like this. Hold up, ladies. We got to stop getting with deadbeats, right? Like we got to be, we got to be fuckboy free, right?
Yeah, we
That has
gotta
to all
tell
be
each
over.
other. We gotta tell. First of all, stop fucking up your birth control. That helps.
Yeah. And we don't believe the latex allergies, by the way. We know y'all are lying, man.
Yeah. Somehow a condition that has a 1 in 1.5 million chance of showing up, but yet everyone in my high school had it.
You got real comment all
That's
of a
weird
sudden.
how that works, eh, Drex?
Yeah. Latex allergies got real comment. Ladies, we aren't falling for that. I'm just telling you.
Oh, by the way, that's why we invented the sheepskin condom, because we were like,
Yep.
look, we know you're lying through your teeth,
Yep.
but we're just gonna go around you anyway.
Well, speaking of lying through your teeth, JLove, please tell me that you've heard the newest toxicity coming from the woman this time, which is the norm. Wilt Chamberlain got Me Too. Did you hear about that?
No.
Now you know Wilt Chamberlain's been dead for a while, right?
Don't get me started on the whole Me Too thing. You know my perspective of it.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. This is the reason why this is important. This is going forward, right? I want guys to understand this. If you can remember, they're going to Me Too your estate, right? So if you have something, even after you're dead, like so Tim, let's say your dad was like some famous athlete or something, right? So then now you are in charge of the estate, right? You're the sole heir. What happens when Me Too starts coming after the estate? They go, oh no, we're going to come after your inheritance, right?
Yeah.
Sins of the father. They're going to start saying, yeah, the same Wilt Chamberlain who admitted to smashing over 10,000 women. And JLove, have we ever heard a single word about Wilt Chamberlain doing women dirty ever?
No.
No one's heard. Tim, just like with Bob Dylan, right? 56 years later, a story comes out. No one has heard a single word about Wilt Chamberlain, not once, right? All of a sudden, long after the man is dead, right? The pastor of the church. Yeah, I talked about that, Koopa. And
What are you always saying? Ain't nobody
raping these hoes, man. Nobody.
Yeah.
I would get that as a T-shirt, but I think I think our seller would.
We might have to put a grape.
He might
Ain't nobody graping these hoes.
Yeah. I'll put like the little grape emoji.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, JLove. It was actually investigated by the FBI. The actual amount of grapes that happen in general in proper society, 1 in 1,900 cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
In college, it's 1 in every 2,000. You know what college atmosphere is like. Nobody is doing this. It isn't happening. All these stories you hear are a lie.
You and I have talked about this extensively. I think of like my brother. I think of, Mr. I don't suck dick. Just because I suck dick doesn't make me gay, friend. Like, I mean, we've talked about this extensively, and I've said that from day one.
Yep.
I'm
now,
calling you
Ms
bluff.
JLove, would you let him or what was the one that kept crying? Was that Vitamin C?
Oh wait, the one that was crying?
Yeah, the crying guy. The guy who kept crying over her.
Oh God, who was that?
I think he called him Vitamin C.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
God.
Would you marry those two guys to get rid of the family court? That's it. You can't play. No more playtime for Miss JLove anymore. You gotta wife up those two guys.
Yeah, no more back
That's-
blowing out in Tampa.
Yeah, that's the extent of the manliness
I'll let
we
the
will
one
ever
that's
see.
not gay smash the other one, and I'll do my own thing. Because
Oh, yeah,
it'll be a
I
perfect
guess
love
women
affair.
can't be cucks, right, Drex? She can sit in the corner and flick herself off while these two gay guys are going
Yeah,
at
I mean,
it.
women get all the power tools, right? They got all the tools, they got all the machines that with pistons on them.
Oh, have you ever heard of something Ms JLove called the clit licker?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
God,
isn't
of
there
course you
one
have.
called like the rose or something?
Okay,
Oh,
now
what is it?
okay, I only heard this from another podcast. I'm not actually intimately familiar with these toys, but apparently, Drex, you remember you used to put a card in your spokes on your bike and it'd make that sound,
Yep.
right? Actually, that was a very bad impersonation of that sound. I know my mic picked. Yeah, that's
I know what
basically what
Drex
the clit
does in
licker
his
is.
spare time.
Hey.
Yeah, of course you do. He's probably doing it to you. Okay, commercial break, everyone. Time to go. Hit the outro music. We're out of here. See you next week, everyone. I'm joking. But yeah, so apparently the clit licker is basically just a piece of plastic on a wheel, and it just slaps. It just slaps you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all game. And J Love, you talked earlier about the the toxic nature of women. This episode was more dedicated to men not falling prey to the forces that are basically saying that they're toxic. But like when it comes to the women, do you notice that women they hold all these cards, right? They can go to the toy store and get all kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as a guy wants to buy a doll, oh no, you can't do that, right?
Right.
Oh, if a guy says he says something that you don't like on the internet, oh, he has to be canceled. But yet when the girl says something, oh, that's okay, right? I mean, what do you think about the toxicity of the ladies out there? You can go ahead and take the floor.
I think just a lack of accountability. Like now it's gotten to the point that women aren't held accountable for the shenanigans and it's become the accepted norm. I don't agree with it at all. And I think in general, like as a man, like don't fall into that rabbit hole and do what everybody question the shit. It doesn't make you a bad person. Own your shit, question the shit, and keep it moving. It's okay to be an asshole. And I think societal standards, have taught, oh, it's not okay to be an asshole. It's not okay to, get upset. Like there's all these different things that go into it. So women have gotten accustomed to them teaching the men that you can't get upset. You can't say X, Y, and Z. And women have taken that and run with it, knowing that they lack accountability. And it's just a vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're starting to see all these people. Tim and I always troll them, right? Biden voters posting their L's. They miss the orange man now, right?
Yeah.
There was a time. You remember that, Tim? It was, oh, get him out of there. And all of a sudden, man, a year later, like, ugh.
Mean tweets don't mean so much when you have to fill up your gas tank before a hurricane.
Yep. All of a sudden, people are saying, you start looking at hyperinflation. You start looking at things. People are kind of like, man, kind of miss the orange man. You saw what happened in Afghanistan. Like, it happened so quick.
Oh, Trump would have dropped such a big Moab on the Taliban. They'd been begging to come back to the negotiation table.
Yeah, no way that it would have happened the same way. And the thing is, though,
no way he would have. Because here's the thing. So Trump authorized the only use of the Moab, which is the mother of all bombs. It is a nuclear bomb.
Yep.
Like the amount of devastation this bomb has on a wide area cannot be understated. Just because you don't burn up in a blast doesn't mean that bomb doesn't kill you. That shockwave liquefies your insides a very long way from the epicenter. So he dropped out a bunch of tunnels that were housing these ISIS fighters, who, by the way, they did the bombing at the airport that killed all those Marines. Do you think Trump would have let that stand? Right? He's got the bodies of 10 Marines sitting on a C-130 coming back to the United States. You don't think he'd be dropping hell's fire on those fuckers?
But therein lies the difference. It's a difference in ideology. It's a difference in approach. And it's like I said, this is not about politics. It's just about attitude. JLove and I talked about this, right? When JLove knows that I get called asshole at least like 8 times a day, right? Especially by women, right? And yet it's women who are my biggest supporters, right? Because I'm not talking about here on this platform, but like in my like private life,
Yeah,
JLove has
our
actually
metrics
seen it.
don't really support that.
Yeah, yeah, not in the online world, but like JLove knows me offline, and she knows the people who have come at me the most, other than baby mama, would be it's dudes. Dudes are the ones saying bad stuff about me in the real world, right? Oh,
And they're white
this
knighting.
Drex guy, because they're white knighting, they're simps. That's toxic. You see what I'm saying? So,
And what are they going to get? So we say it's toxic, Drex and Ms JLove. What does the man possibly get from that? Because he's not getting your respect, right? You don't respect a guy who's out there saying like, "Oh, you need to listen to women." Yes, queen.
But the problem with that is you have all these, women who are women, 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 and just screaming to the mountaintops, and they're controlling it. So ultimately, when they fall into that mold, the women think they're getting ultimately at the end of the day power. It's not benefiting some women, but at the end of the day, that's where it's going. And then they're getting into these relationships and trying to live what society has groomed them to be. And then all the feminists are like, we're winning, but it's gonna backfire sooner or later, and it's just
It
gonna
does.
get all messed up.
It absolutely does backfire. Drex, who? So you said ain't nobody graping these hoes, right?
yep,
Who is graping the hoes? Who's doing the graping?
it's the simps.
It's the Sims.
Like they're the actual bad guys. Like when you
And
guys
who's
actually
cheating,
go out there and look,
right?
yeah, it's the
Who are they
simps.
cheating on? Who are they cheating on?
Yep,
The Simps.
yep.
So simping simping isn't going to get you laid. She ain't going to
No.
fuck you, bro. She definitely doesn't respect you. She's going to go get her back blown out, but she's more than happy to cash your check. She's more than happy to take your check to the bank every day.
Yeah.
That is toxic masculinity.
Yeah, it's amazing to sit back and actually like look at all of this stuff and think about it, and you process it. And for me, I see it happening. You go through it, you do the reverse card on them where I do my social experiment. And then it's like I talk to my boys about it, especially. And I also talk to my girls in regards to, do what makes you happy. Just because society says you have to do X, Y, and Z doesn't mean you always have to conform to what they're saying you need to do.
Well, it's crazy. I'm looking at something that's simple. 5 simple words said earlier. He said, and this is so true, man. This is pure facts. So shout out to our man, 5 simple words. He says, school shooting. The Chads die protecting the weaker vessel. The soy boys survive to become activists. And do you ever notice him? They always put themselves like, oh, I was so brave and I did this. Dude, they didn't do anything, right? They were hiding behind desks. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if I'm remembering this wrong, but I think David Hogg wasn't even there when that Florida school shooting happened. What was it, Marjorie in Broward County? St. Marjorie School, or fuck, I can't remember the name. But it was the one down out north of Miami. That was the one where the school resource officer hid behind a cop car while the guy is actively shooting people.
I do remember that.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah,
I
and
do
so
remember that
David
one.
Hogg became a big activist because he was a student at that school. But if I recall correctly, he wasn't even there when it happened.
Yeah, but they get on TV on CNN and cry and all that stuff. And this is the reason why that's so important, man. Is that look, one of the things that makes you masculine, that makes you who you are as a man, is to own up to whatever it is and to courage under fire, right? But if you weren't there, you just weren't there, right? Like Tim, let's say you skip that day of school or whatever. Here's the thing. Even protecting yourself, there's no shame in that, right? Like Tim, if there's an active shooter, right, and you have an exit right there, right, you exit, right? There's no shame in exiting, like, because the stupidest thing you could do is like try to run in there with no weapons, right? You're completely outgunned, and you just lose your life for nothing. That's stupid. That's not brave.
Yeah.
That's just stupid. So,
yeah, I wouldn't charge a gunman down a narrow hallway if he's maybe 30 feet down the hallway.
right? Like,
Right.
what are you gonna do?
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a fire extinguisher or something and wait on the corner.
Yeah,
Or wait
here's the
in the
thing.
doorway.
As a general rule of thumb, but here's the thing though. I want to take it a step further. I don't want guys, especially these young men out here, losing their lives over these things. Listen, I don't want the young men who to go and mass yeet people, right? Because that's bitch made shit. But also, if you happen to be,
Drex, Who's doing the mass shooting? I
It's
forgot
the
that one.
betas. It's the betas. The world hates me. I'm so angry. But think about it.
Like the Elliot Rodgers of the world, who are the ultimate losers.
They're losers.
And you know what they call the haters call us incels, right? No, we don't own those guys. Fuck them.
Yeah,
we don't own the incels because they worship the P.
They
worship the P.
They always want
they
relationships.
Put women on a pedestal. They judge their worth by how much they're getting laid.
Yep.
What a backwards way to think. I judge my worth by what I'm worth.
Yeah, but by what you're worth and what you bring to the world, right? What kind of guidance are you providing? Are you a father? Are you you're a good worker? All these things that you're producing in the world. But at the end of the day, I don't want guys out here to be sacrificial lamb. Like I want you guys to really understand that about this. When I look at this episode, the things that we've talked about, right? Obviously, you expect to get Me Too at some point in your life. Expect, if you guys are still in school, expect the conditioning, expect the indoctrination. Everywhere you see in the media. But my thing is this: don't be a sacrificial lamb and just say to yourself, "Yeah, Drex, knowing all that, I'm still going to be a simp for this country. I'm still going to be a simp for my family." No. If someone doesn't hold your beliefs, forget them. Fuck them.
Yep.
Done.
Absolutely.
We're done.
I'm sure someone in the chat's going to say, "Oh, look at Tim all boasting and everything. He'd probably run away or hide in a corner." It's like, you guys don't understand. Until I was in the hospital, I was trying to join the army. Like, I started training, right? I'm taught to run towards the sound of gunfire. Now,
I still say it's a bad idea because the country doesn't respect you or love you as a man.
That's fine.
Just my opinion.
I only need one person to respect me.
Oh yeah,
I only need one person to respect me and one person whose life I saved. That's all I need.
So Tim, I understand why guys go to the army, right? My brother's in the army. He's actually going to be deployed in next month. He'll be deployed.
Where's he going?
I think he's going to Afghanistan. No, Kuwait. It's Kuwait or Afghanistan. One of the Kuwait.
Well, we don't have any U.S. soldiers.
Yeah, you're not having anyone in Afghanistan.
Officially, we don't have U.S. soldiers.
He's going to Kuwait. But this is the thing that bothers me though. I understand why guys become Rangers, become Marines. I get it. I really do. But I just want guys to really understand this, man. Who are you fighting for, though? Like really, we talked earlier, JLove, question everything, right? Don't just be sitting here like when someone says, "Hey, guys, go out there and protect women." Why, though, right?
Right.
You're not being respected when you come home?
Hey, 5 simple words. I got your wind talker for you.
Yeah,
no, sorry.
I don't know. I mean, you asked like how many friends do I have? I have 3 friends. One is my neighbor, one is you, and the other one is Mr. M. And out of those 3 friends, like that's pretty much my entire circle. I have pretty much cut off everybody else. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to silence me because I'm not just going along with your propaganda on what you expect. I also have a voice and I'm going to state my opinion. You don't have to like it, but we can have a mutual conversation about it and keep it moving.
Yep.
And so over the last 2 years, I think I've lost like 4 friends where I'm just like,
I remember the alcoholic.
How much did you lose to Trump? I lost a few to Donald Trump.
I mean, I lost a few, but the thing is, it's like, what amazes me is people want that polished politician that is just like, yes, 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 yes. And again,
hey, phrasing.
One thing that Drex and I talk extensively about is you don't have to like what Trump did, but he handled shit and he got it done. You don't have to like his tactics, but why are we punishing him because he's speaking how he feels? Like, why all of a sudden, society, and it really comes back to what we're talking about tonight. They've conditioned them to be X, Y, and Z. When you get the one that's not like that, then all of a sudden, oh, well, he's a horrible person. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. And it's like, it gets to that point where you're just like, I don't even fucking care. It's your own truth.
Yeah.
Speak your mind.
Shout out to Leximus. He said he has a friend who helped deploy the Moab in Afghanistan. Air Force, I'm assuming? Or was he weapons ordnance? Anyways, get back to me on that one.
I just don't want guys to lose their life for nothing. Like for a country that doesn't love them, doesn't respect them, doesn't
the whole sacrifice
appreciate
for the
them.
country, that's a meme. Like, I wasn't going to join the army, so I was... Look at this. I wasn't going to join the army so I could fight for Justin Trudeau. Drex.
Mhm.
How fucked is that? Anyone who joins the army and says, I want to fight for Justin Trudeau's Canada.
Well, here's the only problem, though. Politicians start wars, right? Politicians
Yeah.
are the ones sending you places. And I'm like,
Yeah.
show me, this is for all the men out there. Show me where in your lifetime you have seen, remember, through actions. Don't tell me about, a speech someone gave. Through actions, that if you were born with a dick swinging between your legs, that you have been respected, you have been appreciated, and you have been listened to, right? Tim, no one can say that, right? Not in the Western world. Like, no one can say, if you're 40, and under, you can't say that you've gone through life and be like, oh yeah, guys are respected. Wrong. Oh, guys are showing love. Wrong. Guys are listened to. So when a guy has a concern, the majority of suicide victims, male. The majority of when it comes to homelessness, right? Well, 3/4 are men. So when I'm looking, I'm like, okay, show me that a society cares about you. They don't. So I'm saying
all of that, and it doesn't matter. I'd still do it.
Doesn't matter.
Look, if I didn't have a blood and heart condition, I would have gone through with it, and I'd probably be getting deployed right now because that would have been over a year. So I would have finished my basic, and I'd be either on base or getting deployed. None of that matters one bit. I don't care because I'm not fighting for the government. I'm not fighting for some stupid politician, some fat, rich white guy in an ivory tower. I'm fighting basically for myself, and God is my witness.
I say you can do that without the going through the military trials. That's just my own personal opinion.
Obviously, there's a lot of ways to be to fulfilling oneself.
Yep.
For me, that was one I wanted to do. I thought I would. Fun isn't the right word, but I don't know. Maybe your brother would be able to help with this, but there's got to be some sort of emotion. Maybe that sense of adventure or intrigue, maybe. Because I didn't think I'd have fun in the army, and I'd actually be miserable quite a bit, especially in basic training. But there's Drex. It's that male autism coming back, right? The reason I climb mountains, like a 220-pound person climbing a mountain, hurts a lot. My muscles are screaming when I get home at the end of the night. I can't walk the next day because they're all locked up.
Yeah, lactic acid. Yep. But you're definitely right. In five simple words, said something. He said, he said what we're talking about now, where people like Trump get shitted on. That goes what he was talking about yesterday. And he said, what's your true north? Is it someone else's opinion or is it your core values? And like he said, fuck what people say, man. Right is right. Tim, you and I can disagree about your joining the service, right? I have my view, but I still respect your view, right? And that's been lost. This goes back to what JLove was saying. We live in a cancel culture now, right? And this is definitely feminine. This is not masculine, where just because you and I disagree about something, right? Oh, well, right? Like okay, Tim, you have your view, I have mine.
Together.
Yeah. Tim, but JLove, you've seen this, right? And if girls don't have the exact same view, they get canceled, right? Out of their friend group, right?
Yeah.
I've seen the reaction of the chat to that.
Tim's lactating.
You guys who paid $20 to get the unedited version, because I'm absolutely cutting that one out. Guys who paid $20 to get the unedited version, this is the money. This is the money shot right here.
But it's gotten wild times because JLove, I've told you this. I said, look, I didn't realize, like, I've had guys that have, DM'd me saying like, hey, Drex, I really helped them. You and Tim showed me this, or Nick Rekieta showed me that. And you would be amazed, JLove, about how many guys have been fully indoctrinated, right? They truly were, like, they were basically cucks, right? Like, they just thought that, oh yeah, I'm no good, I'm toxic, I'm horrible. And they, like, whereas all they needed, Tim, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the reason why I actually do have a bit of a soft spot even for someone like Elliot Rodger, because he could have been saved, Tim. You think if Elliot Rodger would have been given the red pill at a certain age, he wouldn't have gone to learn how to rebuild himself?
Yeah, he wasn't he raised by a single mom?
Well, his dad was he was like an outsider, kind of like in Hollywood, but basically raised by a single mom. Yeah, his dad was like a beta dad, but yeah, still.
And I remember in his manifesto, he said like he'd sit on the other side of the door while his sister was getting railed.
Yep. Yeah, he was troubled,
Drex,
man.
I don't think you can fix that. If you're If
That
you're
is
listening to your
sick.
sister getting railed,
Well, actually, you know what? Let's be honest though. That actually kind of makes sense, right? Because for a guy who puts sex on a pedestal and women on a pedestal,
Mm.
think about it,
yeah, I
J-Love. Do you think
don't
that makes
think we could
sense?
have fixed him.
I mean,
Uh,
it does. It does. It's just it's
he
kind of
consumed lots of
crazy.
pornography in his own twisted mind. That I guess. He was abused by his stepmom. Yeah, like it's sad though, man. Because Tim, there's a lot of guys out there hurting. There's a lot of girls that look. J Love, let me ask you this: as we get out of here, where do you see all of this going? Right, with the culture, with dating, with relationships, the workforce, like just all these forces that we talk about, the toxicity just in our culture in general. Where do you see all of this going in the future?
I mean, it's for me, it's going downhill and it's going to go downhill quick. And it's just going to progressively get worse. And I think over the next, 10 years, you're going to start hearing all these stories coming out of the woodworks. And it's going to be this very, feminist type home situation and feminist situation for these women because they feel like they're being heard now, even though they're not being accountable for what they're doing. It's just going to go downhill. I think the marriage rate is going to drop even more. The divorce rate, I think, is going to increase, and you're going to find yourself out and about, and it's going to be nothing but a bunch of single women, a bunch of single men, and everybody kind of just doing their own thing. It's only going to get worse.
Well, I've said that, J Love. I've said that numerous times because you can kind of see the trend, right?
Yeah.
If we saw a trend where we saw a bunch of people getting married in their early 20s, staying together for the long haul, having kids, we would say, okay, that's where I kind of see things going, right? Just go status quo. One of the criticisms I've gotten is, like I said, that's why I give shout outs to guys like Curious Dolphin because he pushes us to do better, to make different content and stuff. But I'm like, well, what do you want me to say though, right? Like,
Right.
you want me to lie to you and say, oh, everything is going to be great. Tim, I promise you in 10 years, everything is going to be great, right? Socialism is going to not win. There's going to be a whole bunch of good stuff happening and everything. Tim, you haven't seen anything to support that, right?
No.
If you don't see any evidence to support something, then like, what would that make me if I got on here and told you guys, don't worry, guys, everything's fine, right? That becomes that dog in the burning house meme, right, Tim? Everything's fine here, and it's like, I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Dating is done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, dating is done. Look, J-Love, I want you to go down the list. Can you think of anything that's not like dead or dying, right? Or dying or dead, right? Can you think of anything? Religion. Let's go online. Religion.
No, again, it comes back to it's all the prepping that's going on right now. If you think right now is bad, this is all the prepping. And now you're going to have kids that are between the ages of really 5 and 10 years old right now that are already have had a couple years of this. And it's going to prep them even more. And by the time they turn 21, 22, 23, it's going to be a fucking shit show. No joke.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think is going to be a bigger shit show? The young bucks who are going to be 10 years older, right? Someone in that age range, like you said, let's say somewhere between, teenage year, they're prepubescent, right? Or do you think the real shit show is going to be all of the women who are going to be the losers in the long run, who they double down on their feminism, right? And they're going to be in their 40s and 50s, maybe even 60s, 10 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the women ultimately are going to end up losing out because everything you're bitching about is ultimately what you kind of want. So what is the issue? Like, why are we trying to fight the force of it all? I think the women are losing out. I mean, I see it already. I mean, look at A from the cruise. I mean, that's a prime example. Early 50s and crying every day about how nobody loves her and whatever. And that's right now. Imagine 10 years from now, she's going to be in her 60s. And where is she going to be at?
The big thing is that, J Love, we've talked about this, and Tim, I think we've talked about this. The chicks who are able to at least Tim, get someone to come over and smash today, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are in your 40s and 50s as a woman right now, and you can go, oh yeah, I can get some D. But what happens like with A, right? When she's in her 60s, though, you and I both know there ain't going to be nobody coming over, right?
No.
Okay, well, how long do women typically live? The women live to their 80s, right? I think the average age of a woman is like 84 or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be like, here's a prime example. My grandparents live in a senior citizen home. It's my mom, my grandma, my grandpa. And when you walk through this home, the average age in that home is 85 years old.
Yep.
When you walk through the home, my grandpa is like the only male. There's like 3 men in the entire thing of 40 some apartments.
Yep.
3 men. And my grandpa talks to all the ladies. It's kind of comical because he talks to everybody. He's been married to my grandma for 69 years next month. And he talks to all the women. And it's interesting to watch that concept. So now if you look at it in today's terms, as far as, 10 years from now, when those people, A is in her 60s, you're going to find the same thing. You're going to start finding these older women are all going into homes, and there's not going to be a lot of men there because the men are going to be like, fuck this, I'm going fishing.
Yep.
I don't have time for this. I'm good. I'm going to keep making my money and just sit back and relax.
I'm going fishing in the big lake in the sky.
Yep. Like
Yes.
it when you look at the trend, like it's not good. Like I worry sometimes, because I have girls and my youngest, is only 11. And I think about 10 years from now, I'm like, oh, Jesus, now what?
What are our
like,
options, right?
yeah.
Let me ask you this. Like, we've talked about this. Our daughters are similar in age. I mean, what are their options going to be, right?
Yeah,
If every dude is wearing a dress, here's the thing. Guys are going to either be dress-wearing weirdos, or they're just going to be dudes who are like, your boys, right? Which is what I became, where I'm just like, yeah, I just fuck bitches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Relationships are done. Look,
checked out.
It's
and got
over.
it all.
Yeah. Or they're going to get a doll. Like, I talked to NCAA Cat about that, Tim, and she was like, yeah, I get it. I get why guys are just going to get dolls and just be like, yeah, I'm good, right? It's coming. We see Japan. It's coming.
They don't have to worry about her shutting her mouth. I mean, with the dolls, nobody speaks.
Oh, yeah, I just saw Koopa put a message up. I did see that. Shenwu, or whatever the word is in China, where it's the leftover women. So JLove, in China, I believe it's age 27. There's a name, it's like Shenwu or something. They refer to them as the leftover women, right? And now guess what they're doing? They're demanding the government take care of them, right? Because that's what women are. That's their biological imperative, provision and protection, right? If a man can't do it, they're just going to run to the government, right? The government gets bigger and stronger. So, like, listening to you talk about the nursing home, I think in particular is very telling because, JLove, most of the dudes, I bet you if you were to ask those women in there, most of their husbands died already, right?
Yeah.
Or they're just single moms or something, they got older.
Even when my grandma was in transitional care, like my grandma at one point was like, my grandpa would come in, she's like, are you fucking the lady down the hall? Which is super comical. My grandpa would never do that. But 90% of the women, 90% of the people in the transitional care were all women. You rarely see men in any of these areas. And it's like that now. And these are people in their 80s and 90s who have lived a whole life, who, got married at 15 and 17 and had whole relationships and stayed married and was in it for the long haul. But now you see that dynamic of now it's a lot of the women are around and the men have died. And then the very few men that are left, like it's going to be an interesting concept when you seriously think about what's happening. Because if you look at today's dating world and you look at, it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. What's going to happen at that point when, people are in their 50s now, 40 years from now, like it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out, but it's doomed. Honestly, it's completely doomed.
Hey, what do you see marriage like kind of like in terms of like proposals? You say it's going to go down, obviously, but like how many people what do you think the marriage rate will be? Like how many people do you think you're going to see saying like, oh, I'm going to these many weddings? Like, back in the day, Tim, this, there was a time when your 20s was spent going to weddings, right? Like most guys spent their 20s going to different people's weddings, right? There was a time when that was normal.
Yeah, there were a lot more weddings when I was like a little kid.
Yeah, you remember that, right? Like you always heard someone was getting married, right? Hey, Tim, how many weddings have you been hearing about recently?
One.
Right? I can't think of one. I'm not joking. Tim, none.
And TradCon. Total TradCon.
Yeah. I can think of a guy who's talking about getting married. I'm telling him no, right?
Yeah.
And
You know what? You know what? If the unicorn comes along, I definitely would get married. I have that tradcon side of me.
it's basically gone out there in the world.
He's looking at me like, have I taught you nothing, Tim?
Yeah,
Have I taught you nothing?
But here's the thing. What do you think the chances are that your unicorn's going to come around? That's the question.
yeah, like realistic
One in
chances.
about 1.25 million.
Yeah.
Approximately.
Yeah, but Tim, therein lies the problem. There was a time, I bet JLove, if you were to ask, women like your grandma, right? What were the odds of her meeting a good man and marrying a good man and staying with a good man? If you had asked her that back in I'm assuming by the 40s when she got married, right? 40s or 50s?
I mean, the probability was like probably 99%.
Yeah,
Like
it was easy. It was like, oh yeah, there's plenty of good men, right? Oh,
Yep.
Was he 6'5"? No. Did he have a 15-inch dong? No. But guess what? He was a good dude. He's a good, stable guy, solid guy, loved her, cared about her, respect her, wanted to build a family. That was the norm, Tim. All of
Right.
it's gone.
And now the norm is let's
Swipe.
put her ass on TikTok and
Yep.
do an OnlyFans page.
Bugs Bunny
and
challenge.
understand why I don't have a husband.
Yeah. That's the best. Hey, Tim, these girls do the most, right? And then go, why can't I get a man? Like, but you're on OnlyFans, TikTok, Seeking Arrangements, The Hub. You're on literally everything. Craigslist, back pages when it was up and running.
Hey, Ms JLove, do they still use Craigslist?
I don't know. I know my sister used to do stings with the police department on Craigslist.
Hey.
Holy shit, just fucking out her, why don't you? She's gonna get herself
I mean,
hit.
she's proud of it. She would laugh about this shit because they would go on Craigslist and then they take off and go on Backpage.
Yep.
And the same men that would hit up the person on Craigslist within 20 minutes was hitting up the same one on Backpage.
That's the state of things. But JLove, is there any last comments you want to say before we get out of here?
No, it's just the dating and the future is it's not looking good. That's the reality of it.
Oh, we got a doll owner in the chat.
Oh, do we?
Wait, is that a black doll?
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. We might have to kick him. Cancel culture.
What do you call a mute German Shepherd?
That might be the only dark-skinned doll.
She looks like Arab, though, man. She doesn't look like black.
Yeah, you gotta help us out here.
Skin. Yeah, that's olive
buddy.
skin.
I need to know what's the deal with this. All right, Ms JLove, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks a million.
You're welcome.
Always good to have you on the show.
Stay toxic out there, guys. Like literally, stay toxic, man. Embrace that shit. If you get called an asshole, take it as a compliment.
Absolutely.
Now, Ms. JLove, we're just gonna go. Actually, can you hang out for a bit? Because I think this email, you might have a good take on this email that I'm gonna read.
Okay.
This is from our frequent emailer. I didn't get one after last week, so I hope I didn't hurt her feelings about emailing us like after every episode. My current opinion on having children is this. Never say never. I may change my mind in the future, but for now, I'm not in love with the idea of becoming a mother. I'm 19. I do want to get married, and I've had thoughts about having kids, fantasies, ideas, but I don't want to raise a child in this shithole world. But I've seen examples of women who are staunchly against having children and then change their minds later when it's too late. Candice Bushnell. I'm worried because I can't predict what my future self will think. What if I change my opinion like other women and it's too late? How am I going to deal with finding a boyfriend and how values change? So for you, emailer, step number 1, do not freeze your eggs because it doesn't work and you make bad decisions because of it.
Yeah.
The failure rate of freezing your eggs is really, really high. And there are women who thought like, oh, I froze my eggs. Now I can do whatever I want.
Whoa, wait, Tim. Well, pause. Time out. You can't be sharing this information. You know, that's my next investment, right? I'm invested in all this. So, ladies, freeze your eggs. Continue to get ran through. Tim, don't listen to anything Tim just said. I want you guys to make me richer in the
Hey.
future.
I edit these episodes. I'm gonna cut you.
As soon as he hears time out.
I'm out. JLove, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
What do you think
Ms.
about this
JLove,
girl's predicament?
You got to make a choice. If you don't want to have kids and you don't want to have them right now, you should never regret a decision you decided to make at that moment and at that time in your life. That's the decision you made. It's interesting because she may not change her mind. My sister, from the time we were 5 years old, the deal was I was going to have all the kids. She wasn't going to have any. My sister's a year younger than me and she has 0 kids.
Yeah,
So-
being the aunt or the uncle is a lot better than being the mother or the father.
Yeah, being the uncle and aunt is the best thing ever, man.
But I mean, and then I know like my oldest was like, I'm not having any kids. And then she hit a point at, early 20s. She decided I want to have a kid. So, I mean, enjoy right now. You're 19. Enjoy the time you have right now. And I mean, women are having kids like in their 40s and their
Don't
late
wait that long.
30s.
Don't wait that long.
Yeah, they're not having healthy kids.
Don't wait that long. But I mean, you still have, even at 30, I mean, that's still 11 years from now.
30 is basically when, well, it's almost the age of the wall it hits right now. But
Yeah.
30 is the part where you get to reevaluate and say yes or no for the final time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Like that is literally like the clock striking midnight, right? Like, all right, are we doing this or not? Because if you're at 30 and you're saying, I still don't know. Do you ever notice that's the person who winds up being like 36 and they're like, but now I want kids. And it's like,
Where are all
too
the
late.
good men, Drex?
Yep, and that's
gotta-
usually
yeah,
the age
remember,
where
in the
it happens.
20
You do
year-old.
have to keep this in mind too. What quality of a man is available at 30?
Yep.
Yeah.
Compared to 19. So yeah,
Yeah.
we need to tell this girl, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're 19, really evaluate yourself, the men around you, and your future. Because if you make the right choice right now, your life, you will have a life of comfort, right?
Yeah.
If, at 19, like, you could be married by 22 and then like look back and go, well, I'm glad I didn't go that route, right?
Yeah.
Or you can say, I'm just gonna work. The worst thing you can do is get too caught up in your career and be Candace Bushnell, right, Tim? Where you're 60 something and you're like, oh, I have all this regret. I'm so lonely. I don't
The
want
only thing I have is this bottle of Xanax.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I don't want these girls to go out like that. But Tim, and this is the thing that kind of goes back to what JLove said. She's seen it from both sides, right? Having daughters, having sons. One of the biggest issues I think you're going to see going forward, Tim, can you, as a woman, even an attractive young woman, can you find a good man to marry? Because Tim, we're hearing all these stories, right? More and more dudes are checking out, right? They're like, nah, I'm good, fam. I highly doubt JLove's sons are going to get married. Highly doubt it.
Highly doubt it.
Some men who have checked out will change their mind and come back in.
Yeah.
I can see that.
What you need to do is present yourself as a submissive wife who can cook, who can clean.
Yep. And
Yeah.
be a good mother to the children and
And a
like,
good
yeah, have
mother.
value. Like, and don't nag. Do not nag.
Well, and even more simple than that, don't be crazy.
Well.
Do whatever your mother tells you to do the opposite.
Do the
first of all.
opposite.
Yeah.
Do the opposite. JLove, back me up on this one.
Yeah. I completely back you up on that.
So
Well, dads are going to tell you how to be a good wife. Like, if you go ask your dad and be like, Dad, how do I become a good wife? Even if he's a bad, like, he could literally just be like a bad dad. He'll at least get that part right. Like, he'll tell his daughter, like, oh, well, do these things. These are the things that men like. He's not going to tell you, oh yeah, what you should do is make sure you got a side hustle with a side dude. Moms actually tell girls this, Tim.
moms tell girls go get ran through.
Go get ran through. And you're sitting there going, what are you doing? So yeah, good luck to this girl. Like I said, make sure that whatever choice you make sure that it is truly what you want, though, because Tim, we're gonna see a lot of girls out there saying, where are all the good men in the next 10 to 20 years, man?
Yep.
And the other trap that you can fall into is, we were just talking about choose who you spread the pee for, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's
you've
like,
already. She told us that the men in her area are trash. There's nothing there, and I'm not talking like Tommy Lauren men are trash.
Yep.
I mean, like, these dudes are fucking up big time.
Yep.
Right.
Well, you know what?
She's up on the Eastern Seaboard.
Well, do you know what she needs to do, though, Tim? She needs to look and go like this. Who has the life that I want to have, right? If you're a woman, right? Listen very carefully. identify the women who have the life that you desire, right? And then talk to them and then analyze their life. What kind of guy do they get, right? Do they get, do they get the thug or do they get the good guy, right? What kind of life are they living? Is she happy in her arrangement with, she has her husband and everything? And talk to her. Be like, yo, how did you meet your husband, right? Because I can promise you, Tim, it was highly unlikely they met each other swiping right?
Yeah, don't do online dating.
Don't do that. Like
don't do anything on your computer. Have a hobby. That's always a good place to find men who are interested in the same things that you're interested in. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you hate all the things that he does and he hates all the things you do, that's not really going to work out long term.
JLove, do you think that's a byproduct of the online dating? Because like both people live their own life, right? And then they do everything in reverse. They do the all the freaky sex up front, and then like, hey, we're so sexually compatible, we should start dating. And then you realize, wait a minute, why is this not working? Everything that he does is something that you don't like, and maybe vice versa, right?
Yeah.
There's no common interest. Hey, you want to go to the Vikings game? Well, I don't like football. Well, hey, do you want to go to this anime convention? I don't like anime. Hey, do you want to come with me to go to Aikidas? I don't want to do that. You want to watch Real Housewives? I don't want to do. So you start to notice that, right, Tim? Like the women have their lives and their interests, and the guys have their lives and their interests, but none of them intersect. You need some intersection in terms of things you guys like.
Now, not everything. You don't have to do everything together.
Right.
You just need
people
some
need a break.
intersection. Yep.
That is the problem with online dating is everybody can project that I can do X, Y, and Z, and this is what I do. And then when reality comes down to it, compatibility ends up being missing because they're not asking the questions. We're not sitting face to face. We can sit behind a computer and literally calculate how I'm going to respond, what I'm going to respond to, and so on and so forth. So when it comes down to the sex, I mean, as we talk about, it's 3 to 5 minutes. Is that right, Drex?
Yep. 3 to 7 is the average sexual encounter.
So when you think about that, you're only getting 3 to 7 minutes of their time. And outside of that, you're sitting in a room just looking at each other like, now what do we do?
Yeah.
And that's usually what it comes down to. Tim, we've talked about that. That's most of what happens, right? People are kind of looking at each other like, damn, like
we're staring at our phones, right?
You're
eating at a restaurant, right? You're eating out at a restaurant with her. You're both staring at a phone.
Yeah, it was interesting being in Tampa because I'm one of those people, like when I'm in somebody's presence and whatnot, I put my phone down. Like I don't have time for it. And Mr. Tampa was the same way. And so it was nice to actually have a full conversation and in-depth conversations about just miscellaneous things that normally you wouldn't be able to do because everybody's so consumed with social media and how I'm looking and what I'm doing.
You know what? Here's what's funny though. Do you know where that comes from though, JLove? It's when it's your birth year, right? If you grew up without the internet, right? If you went through your life without the internet, because Tim, we've talked about this. The young, and I've seen this with the young kids, it's over. Trust me, it's over. They especially the young girls. I have yet to see a younger female, Tim, that's not consumed by her phone, right?
Yeah.
You want the thing that bothers men the most. You're talking to them, and you're on your phone the whole time.
Whole time.
Yeah.
Bad
and
look.
You're texting us at 2 or 3 in the morning. Like I work. I have to sleep at 2 and 3 in the morning. All right.
Yeah.
Figure your shit out. If you're up at 2 or 3 in the morning popping pills, there's something else you need to take care of.
A lot of chicks are doing that.
Dating market, right? And then the final kind of piece of advice is, because sometimes crazy can be hard to spot, right?
Yeah.
Crazy is very good at disguising itself.
Yep.
But you can tell when a man's going to be a fuck shit. He's going to fuck up when he starts telling you to do things when you're not ready to do them, right? Now, we said you can wait until you're 30 before you make the final decision you have kids. You find this nice guy, right? He's self-sufficient. He takes care of himself. He carries himself well. He works out. And you're like, oh, okay, I can see having kids with this guy. But you're not quite ready. And he's like, well, no, I want to get married now.
Yeah.
Hold on. Red flag. Why now?
Yeah.
Right? Every man on this planet understands that you do have to wait for good things.
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
This is why we don't have slot machine addictions. Drex, who has overwhelmingly the slot machine addiction?
Yep. We know who it is.
We know who it is.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
We don't fall for that shit. We know that the instant gratification is just that. Fleeting,
Right.
instantaneous. So we have a lot more forward-thinking, long-term oriented brains. So if there's a guy who's who's thinking in the short term and pressuring you to do something now, today, make the
Run.
decision, get the fuck out of there.
Well,
That's their first sign of crazy.
Well, let's face facts, and we'll get out here with this. When it's real, when it feels right, when you know it's right, you don't have to pressure neither side, right? JLove, do you believe that there's people out there right now who let's use your grandparents, right? I highly doubt your grandmother was pressuring your grandfather to get married. He just knew it was right?
Yeah, I mean, they talk about it. My grandpa talks about the first time he ever laid eyes on my grandma. He knew right then and there. I mean, yes, I know it's way back in the day, but there was never a pressure that we need to rush and get married, have some kids and whatever. It just happened. Yeah,
It was a different
literally
time.
just happened. It was a different time era, but also temptation and all the social media shit and all the extra shit wasn't a part of it.
Well, and sometimes an accident happens too, right? And you find out you've been knocked up.
A lot of people got married because of that.
To say, well, shit, but all right, well, I guess we got to put our lives in order,
Yeah.
That was back then. Now it's like, I mean,
Abort.
I don't really like you like that. I mean, that's really what happens right now.
Yep. So, I mean, sometimes, and people are like, well, when if you always spend your life waiting until you're ready, you'll be 80 before anything happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You're ready when you're ready. Sometimes life just forces it on you too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that quote can be taken out of context real good.
Hey, phrasing.
But sometimes circumstances force you to make the decision sooner than you'd want to, and you just got to make sure you're mentally in the right headspace, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to be physically active and work out, because a healthy person is usually in the right headspace.
Yeah.
But if you're big as a house, you look like a 2, you're not going to be in the right headspace to make any kind of life-altering decision.
Nope.
Anyways, Ms JLove, thank you so much. We
You're
went pretty
welcome.
long here. I'll save we got an email about teen pregnancy and high school daycares.
Oh,
but
damn.
it's a long story, so I'll save it for next week. But
Yeah,
also some show announcements. We have launched to the general public the Migtown store. So migtown.show/shop. You can go find our initial run of merchandise. We've got Samsung and iPhone cases, a couple of shirts, hoodies, long sleeves. This is our initial run of products. We will be adding more, but I wanted to see how successful this first line is, because then I can determine how much money to invest in it. How much stock to keep. Because if I have like 20 different types of shirts, I need to know, am I going to buy 10 of each? Am I going to buy 100 of each? So I wanted to do this initial line first. We've had some sales. They should start shipping out pretty soon. I see them come through on the email here.
Solid.
If what you get isn't what you thought you were gonna get, hit me up. We'll make it right by you. Oh yeah, the voicemail. Still no voicemails this week. The voicemail number 1-855 Migtown. Did I miss any? Drex, did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
I guess that's it. Drex, final thought to you. I'm gonna have to start making that a thing now, like the little overlay that just says "final." Like Jerry Springer.
Jerry
right?
Springer has the final thoughts.
Yeah, you have a final thought, but it's THOT.
Yeah, final thought. Final thought. You know what? Just be who you are, unapologetically who you are. And you know what? And I will say this though. Take being called an asshole as a compliment and be toxic, what society deems as toxic, which is basically the asshole, which is the guy who's not a bitch made cuck. I want you guys to really listen to this. Always be that guy. Stop with this whole like, well, I don't want my family to say this, or I don't want my no. Look, you look at someone like Donald Trump, right, Tim? He was always that guy, right? He was always that guy. So what ends up happening is people either love you or hate you, but it's like at least people know where you stand, right? You're that guy. But just own it. Just like, dude, own being who you are. Stop hiding behind like, well, I don't want someone to think this or think that. Own it. Fuck that, man. Be who you are, man.
No, you're not allowed to unapologetically be a goblin smasher. That's where we draw the line. Just like you're not allowed be who you are doesn't again, this is I am surprised we have to explain this to people, but I know there's people in the comments who will take the words literally. Oh, does that mean I should be a simp then? Because that's who I am. No.
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 It has to be something that's positive for your life. You know what I'm saying? It has to be something that's good for you. Being a simp is not good for you, so therefore don't be a simp.
Watching goblin amputee porn is not good for you. And you know this because you call yourself a degenerate.
We're going to get him a doll. Go fund me.
Well, we saw that. You saw that. Did you watch that TFM video?
I did. That was great. That was great.
He just needs to get that that toy that TFM reviewed.
Oh, my God.
And his life will be complete.
Yeah, hearing him unbox it was hilarious. He's like, it's even got dimples. Look, it's got dimples. I'm like, oh, God.
I have never heard TFM laugh that much as that video.
Oh, man. He was dying.
Oh, that's just someone we're going to have to get back in here pretty soon.
I know. Shout out to our man TFM.
Shout out to our man TFM. God speaks through him. Drex.
Yeah, he's literally saved guys from eating themselves. I remember listening to his show, multiple guys.
Oh, well, we've had people message you that.
Yeah, I've gotten that message.
That above the.
Yeah, it's very humbling.
What male depression looks like and what female depression looks like.
Yeah.
I saw that video, and I gotta tell you, that is oof. He yeeted himself point blank with a 12 gauge.
Yeah, man, it's no joke. But society doesn't care, you know. Society is the one that's toxic. They're just projecting it onto men. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with going and looking for help. There's nothing wrong with outreach. If you're feeling some kind of way, and you feel like it's hopeless, like, dude, like reach out. Like, these guys like bottle it up. Like, I just hate everything. It's like usually, Tim, with guys especially, it's just one conversation away, right? From turning them all around. Literally one conversation away for a guy to change their whole life.
Some guy just needs to hear that there's someone out there that actually understands what they're feeling like. Because I'm fully convinced, and I think Ken Jennings might be able to offer some insight in it. But if you go speak to a professional and talk about Migtown stuff, they're actually gonna push back against that. They're gonna say, "Well, no, you have to be a simp to be happy and fulfilled."
Yep. Oh yeah, you need to get married.
Gonna help?
Yeah, you're not helping society, and that's saying like this is the only space, Tim, the online space. And I've gotten that from people in my DMs who have said, like, whether they saw me on Recadas or they listened to other content creators, they said they truly felt alone. They truly believe they were all alone, and they were like, well, what's the point of anything, right? Then they dipped into nihilism, right? And so when you start saying stuff and it's like it adds context, they said, wait a minute, I'm not alone. Like, that was all it took for them to like just have a different perspective. I'm not alone. So yeah, shout out to you guys. Like I said, definitely just keep on being who you are. And if you need help, then there's plenty of things to outreach. If you want to call us here, send an email here, or any other content provider content creator that you guys like, listen to them, because sometimes you may pick up some valuable jewels. So JLove is doing that with her boys, obviously. So any last words? I think we're all good.
I think we're all good. Thanks again,
we're all
Ms.
good.
JLove.
No problem.
We'll see you guys. Stay frosty.
Peace out, everybody.